So in the yellow boat at the top of your picture, it's the might of the University of London. Their top crew in this event, which is a heat of the Temple Challenge Cup, and they are racing Radley College with the white and red blades. They are on the right of your picture. Radley College is second 8. They had to come through and qualify for this event, Mark. And I did see the reaction they put on Twitter, the reaction of the first 8 when they heard their second 8 had qualified, and they were just giving it some arms in the air. It was fantastic for them to be here.
And that squad, that community that you have, you know, that's so important, because, you know, you think about the first 8, if anybody gets injured or sick, one of these guys are straight in. So having that bond between your first and second and maybe third 8s is so important. And, you know, celebrating their success of making it. It's the first time I think Radley have made it into the Temple in 15 years. So that's a huge feat as well.
So we're looking at Radley College there in the first part of this race. And in the distance, edging away, the men from University of London. And we're live now. So there are University of London on the right of your picture, the purples, and Radley College with the red and white. University of London have been through quite a lot of trouble to keep their boathouse at Hartington Lane in Chiswick. And the university, fantastically, thank you University of London, have agreed to substantially invest in improving the boathouse. ULC a big role for their alumni in helping to support their rowing programme. And they've got this new coach, Anthony Smith, who is a fantastic coach, isn't he? He's worked at St Paul's, he's worked at Lady Eleanor Hollis, he's seen success in both boat clubs, and now he's coaching these boys at UL, Mark.
And they've got, you know, the facility you just spoke about, the location of the river. It's a stunning place, and it's you know, it needs that investment to bring it up to kind of modernise it. So, you know, give these athletes the best opportunity. And it's not just for the men's pro, it's their women's. You know, it goes across everything. So yeah, it's great to hear the news that that's going to be kind of, you know, given the funds it needs to kind of upgrade it.
So we're looking at that yellow Empacher shell, the German boat, and you know, I guess that's not shy of about 70 grand for one of those, particularly with those carbon wing riggers. What's the advantage of having the carbon riggers as opposed to the aluminium riggers in that sort of boat, Mark?
Well, I think it's more about the strength element. You know, it's whatever crew feels is best use for them. You know, you'll try different boats, different equipment. You've got Empackers, you've got Fleet, all these different boat manufacturers. At the end of the day, it's obviously certain clubs just go for one make because that's what they're going to go with. But if you have the opportunity to try different things and what works best for your particular crew or your athletes, but yeah, the carbon wings are obviously, they look nice. That's one thing athletes like. They want to look good. That's always the thing on athletes' mind. Do we have the latest stuff?
Yeah.
Do we look good?
I did hear that Murray and Bonds, when they were racing in a stiff boat with carbon, you know, Empacher gave them a new boat, and they both sort of said, the famous New Zealand pair that won here several times, just said, no, it's too stiff for us, went back to their old boat.
Yeah, and I suppose because there were two of them and the level they're at, they can have that choice and flexibility. Not everybody obviously will have that. It's great if we could, but that's just understanding what works for you and how do you get the best out of the effort you're putting in to maximise your boat speed.
So we're looking at the back of 20-year-old Joe Trevor, the bowman from University of London. In the middle of that boat, Henry Marks and Tom Cross at 5 and 6. In the engine room, basically, two boys that won the Prince Albert with University of London last year. Gives you an idea of the standard of this University of London crew, and really some reason to explain why they're so far ahead of their opponents, Radley College second 8.
Yeah, this is UL's top men's crew, so you know they've got their best athletes in here. Radley, this is their kind of second 8, and for them it would have been, you know, how can we rattle, you know, the guys who are at university. And I suppose there's always that when you're the guys that are meant to be better, there's always that nervous energy. We've got to make sure we get off right, get off clean, and really try and put this race to bed as early as possible.
So UL now just going through an easy paddle. I mean, what sort of percentage pressure would you say they're doing now as they come through? What, they're about 350 metres from the finish? Yeah,
it looks like they're kind of, I'd say, just above UT2 now. They're probably taking it right down. And the thing is, they'll be using this opportunity where the Cox will be relaying information, going through potential race calls, making them sure that they're kind of ingraining things. So when they come into racing later on in the week, those things are just, they don't have to actually talk about it, they know what's coming.
So University of London soak up the applause past the enclosures. An important contest this for the university. There's the Radley bowman, Seb Alds, and it's his first Henley Regatta, the bowman, with his cap set back. Crew stroke by Laurie van der Grift, boxed by John Elliott. Just see his pink bandana there, his pink cap. And we are now coming right through to the finish. University of London ease their way past the Henley finish line in this heat of the Temple Challenge Cup for University 8s. And Radley College's second 8s had a great season this second 8. It is amazing for a school second 8 to qualify for the Temple Challenge Cup with all the universities. And they have done the amazing by qualifying, and they've had their day in the sun here, and the sun is shining despite the wind at Henley. Radley College come through to finish their account at Henley Regatta 2022. So University of London, UL I wanted to say, beat Radley College in the heat of the Temple Challenge Cup.